Question number 6, Denis O'Rourke.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. This question is addressed to the Associate Minister of Transport. Is he satisfied with current requirements for overseas drivers in New Zealand?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Craig Foss.
Mr Speaker, if the member is asking about the requirements for those with overseas licences who drive in New Zealand, then yes. Under the relevant driver licensing rule, New Zealand accepts, and has under successive governments since the late 90s, accepts driver licences issued by any overseas authority, provided they are written in English or are carried with an accurate English translation. We also accept international driving permits issued under the 1968 Vienna Convention. This government, in partnership with other organisations, has introduced numerous initiatives to better inform and educate visitors who intend and who do drive in New Zealand. Those initiatives cover all stages of an overseas visitor's trip, from planning, booking, in-flight, on arrival and on our roads.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Denis O'Rourke.
If it is good enough for countries like China to require visitor drivers to sit a driving test, what are the reasons his government does not require the same here, given the number and seriousness of accidents involving foreign drivers?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
Mr Speaker, to put it in perspective, the member's last point there, the number of serious accidents involving foreign drivers. So, in the year to March 2016, there were 3.3 million international visitors to New Zealand. In 2015, there were 291, sadly, fatal crashes in New Zealand, and sadly, 1,822 serious injury crashes. Of those, overseas drivers were at fault in 16 fatal crashes and 79 serious injury crashes. Mr Speaker, I reiterate, any crash, any fatality is a tragedy, but we must keep it in perspective and context.
Perspective for who?
Supplementary.
It's ridiculous.
Order. Supplementary question, Denis O'Rourke.
In the case of the Chinese nationals caught recently driving tour buses on fake or borrowed licences, has he seen to it that Alps Travel's transport services licence is cancelled, or at least suspended, pending a full investigation, and if not, why not?
The
Mr Speaker,
Honourable Craig Foss.
I won't comment particularly on that case because actions are being undertaken, but Mr Speaker, we take driver licence fraud, driver licence misdemeanours very, very, very seriously. And I would note that the allegations in around that particular case, many laws, rules and regulations have allegedly been broken.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Denis O'Rourke.
Is he concerned that his government's softness on overseas drivers is being reflected in similarly soft sentences for overseas drivers who cause fatal accidents here? And if so, when will he do something about it?
That's right.
Mr Speaker,
The Honourable Craig Foss.
I will not comment on matters that are under investigation and or before the courts.
Pathetic.